Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a fragrance review. This is on the Kilian Discovery set, which is a gift set that is available now and I think would make an excellent gift for somebody that you really love in your life because it's a luxurious, amazing fragrance brand. It's my all-time favorite fragrance designer, which is saying a lot because I am massively obsessed with fragrance. So I got this Discovery set last year from my sweet friend, David. He sent me this as a holiday gift. So I've had a year now, just under a year, to really play and test and review in my head or whatever, like all of these fragrances. And then I always wanted to do a video on it, just kind of explaining my thoughts on the different scents, but I saw that this year Kilian has brought back out the Discovery set. It is slightly different and I will explain what the differences are. Last year when I got the Discovery set, it came with 10 vials that are this size, each of which is 0.25 fluid ounces or 7.5 milliliters. So these have a spray on them. It's just a glass bottle. It did not come with any holder or carrier for it. I'm holding mine here in this Kilian box, but this also did not come with the Discovery set. This was from a purchase of a Kilian fragrance that I already have. So all it came with was the 10 vials of 0.25 fluid ounces, which ended up being a really nice value because the cost was $195. And I forget the exact math, but I know that, okay, so I just pulled up on the website just to refresh myself, like a full-size bottle of Kilian, which is 1.7 ounces, is $295, typically. Unless there's like a special limited edition one or whatever, it might be a little bit more. But for the most part, this size bottle, 1.7 ounces, is $295. Okay, comes with the fragrance, comes with like usually a box depending on what collection it came in. Well, again, for 0.25 times 10, so for 2.5 ounces of fragrance, which is more than the 1.7 you get here, you're paying $100 less, right? So $195 versus the $295. Okay, so needless to say, it was a fabulous deal. Well, this year I saw that with the set being back, you do get 2 fewer vials of fragrance, but the trade-off is that this year they've included the actual bullet, or like the travel spray, which is a really beautiful, nice, heavy container. Kind of looks like a lipstick holder with a K etched on top. I mean, it helps that my name starts with a K. It makes it that much more special for me. A magnetic closure, and it's just like a really heavy duty, amazing holder that you can put all of your fragrances into. So it's still $195 this year. Again, it includes 8 vials of fragrance instead of the 10, but you are getting this and it's still for $195. I still think it's an amazing value. I've noticed that 7 of the 10 from last year are in the set again. Obviously 2 were eliminated, so 2 aren't even there. And then there's 1 that they have this year that they didn't have last year. So my review won't be identical to what they have this year, but I hope that it's helpful anyway. Also, if you enjoy fragrance and fragrance videos, I would love it if you would subscribe because I talk about it a fair amount here on my channel because again, it is an obsession of mine. So let's just start talking. Okay, so the 3 that were in it last year that are not in it this year, I'm sad to say that 2 out of these 3 are my absolute favorite Kilian scents. In fact, I already own a full-size bottle of one of them and then I own like a travel size bottle of the other one. So for me personally, if I were to have been buying this year, it wouldn't be the end of the world because I already have those 2 scents, but I feel bad because I sing these scents praises all the time and they're not in it. So the first one is Back to Black and the second one is Vodka on the Rocks. Back to Black, its fragrance notes are tobacco, vanilla, and honey. I have talked about it so many times. If I had to only have one fragrance, I'm actually split 50-50. There's one by Byredo called Gypsy Water that I would also say I love equally as much as this, but Back to Black, I don't know. It's so special to me. It might pull ahead as my all-time ultimate #1 fragrance. It's extremely sexy, sophisticated, intoxicating. It is sweet. It is kind of leathery, kind of smoky. Like, it's just the best. Now that I think about it, I want to say it could probably be fairly androgynous, good on a man, but it's incredibly sexy on a woman. I am super bummed they didn't include this in the kit this year, but smell it if you're at a Kilian counter because it's exquisite. The other one they didn't include is definitely more of a shared kind of like gender neutral fragrance. It is Vodka on the Rocks. I've also talked about this one. This one has cardamom, oak moss, and rose is kind of the main scents. It's really unique to me. It smells fresh and clean, but it also has kind of a touch of masculinity to it. Kind of like, I don't want to say this word, and I've described a fragrance like this before. Was it this one? Kind of like that Old Spice cologne smell. Now to me, that's not a negative thing. It's just kind of this musky, clean man kind of edge to it. And again, this is not entirely manly. There is the rose in there, which I can't even really smell, but I do think it's complex. And it doesn't smell like a man, it doesn't smell like a woman, it's kind of fluid, and so I think it's the layer of like the rose in there with those other things. But to me, this just screams fall. It's like, it's just awesome. You can wear it during the day, you can wear it at night. It's like a good one to mix with other scents. It really lingers really well on the skin. All of the Kilian scents like have really good staying power, but this one really just like tells a beautiful tale as it envelops throughout the day. So yeah, Vodka on the Rocks was also not in there. The third one that was not in there this year is this one. It's called Liaisons Dangerous. I'm probably saying that wrong, or it's probably supposed to be pronounced in a French accent, which I can't do. It looks like the replacement they have done for those three is they included Woman in Gold, which Woman in Gold is one of their newer ones. I have smelled it. I don't know that off the top of my head I can remember. I probably have a sample of it over there if I'm being honest. But it didn't stand out in my head as, oh my gosh, I need this now. They have another new one called, what's it called? Dark Lord. That one I remember being like, oh wow, I really like this. As well as Do It For Love for Linda, which I have a review here on my channel. I can link if you want to see that. Getting back to the topic, Woman in Gold, the notes are bergamot, rose, and tonka bean, which that sounds good, like reading that description, but again, I don't remember like obsessing over Woman in Gold. So I'm just going to start by reviewing this one, and then I will go over the remaining, what would that be then? 6 that are in the, right? 7? The remaining 7 that are in the collection from last year and this year in a more in-depth review. So Liaisons Dangerous. Gonna review it even if it's not in the kit this year. It has rose, plum, blackcurrant, ambrette seeds, vanilla, and moss. Oh, okay. I am super bummed they didn't include this. I was thinking this was a different one. I had put some notes down in my phone just to help me remember because it's hard. It's a lot, you know. So this guy, I said it was Love at First Spray. It's a perfect blend of sweet and fruity, yet sophisticated, sexy, and mysterious. Emphasis on that like mysterious word. You can definitely smell like the fruitiness with the plum and the black currant in there, which is a little reminiscent of Diptyque, like the Candle Bay, which I know Diptyque has a matching fragrance of that candle, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But it's a little bit sweeter and fruitier than that scent. Jo Malone Blackberry and Bay is also in that same kind of realm with like Diptyque Bay. As I wore this, it turned softer and almost a little bit powdery after a few hours. By the end of the day, it still was very fruity and sweet, but it had like a touch of sexiness to it. It wasn't just your average kind of overly produced. No, that sounds like really negative, but you know what I mean, like more designer, less niche, sweet, fruity. It had like an extra added level of sophistication and sexiness to it. The rose also started to develop after several hours, so it had really good longevity. I really like it. So those are the 3 that are not in the kit. I still think the kit is worth it. Let's move on with what is in the kit. Okay, this one is called Good Girl Gone Bad. I've used quite a bit of it. I think this is one of their more popular fragrances, so you may have heard of it. I know that Sephora sells this one because Sephora does sell Kilian now, but they don't sell every scent. So this guy has rose, tuberose, and jasmine as the notes, so it's definitely a floral. I'd also say that it's very feminine, but it was interesting because it does not just like immediately smell like a floral to me. It has more of a sweetness to it. And I don't actually really care for florals. I've said this about 100 times. Maybe I need to change the way I say that, because I think in my head that I don't care for florals, but then I have floral scents that I really adore. Sorry, I keep looking up there because that's where I keep all my perfumes. So when I heard the notes, I was like, oh, that's gonna be too like floral and whatever. But no, it's more sweet and kind of took me by surprise. It almost smells to me like there's peach or honey in it, which I don't think there is. It didn't say that in the description, but I'm kind of smelling something like that. I would describe this as sophisticated, sexy, feminine, delicate. Super like kind of delicate. The longevity was good, as Kilian fragrances are, but it was not the best longevity out of like some of the other ones. The next scent, oh, my hair's on my face, that you will find in this kit is called Straight to Heaven. I like this one. This one has notes of rum, patchouli, and nutmeg. It's a very warm, spicy, and cozy fragrance, but it also has the perfect amount of spice. It's not too spicy. I do like warm, rich, spicy scents. I'm naturally gravitated towards those or attracted to those, but I think there's a fine line of when it's too much and it's like I want to like it, but then in application I don't actually like it. This is the perfect balance. It's rich, it's deep, it's a touch masculine, but also a touch feminine. So, you know, it's really unisex. It's really kind of could sway either way. Obviously it mixes with your body chemistry to kind of envelop into something different on everyone. As I wore it on me, it did end up turning a little bit more musky and a little bit more masculine throughout the day, but I really did like that. I wasn't offended by that. It just, that's how it wore on me, and it almost started to smell like leather, which I can kind of smell on the bottle too, with a very faint background of being sweet. So it did turn a little masculine, a little musky, a little leathery, but still sweet. This also, like the Good Girl Gone Bad, didn't have the best longevity out of Kilian. In case that wasn't clear, I would say that Kilian fragrances already are above a lot of other like designer or less expensive fragrances in terms of longevity. Like, yes, they are better than a lot of others, but then within Kilian's collection, there are some that are even higher with their longevity, and this one is not. It's kind of just at the baseline. The next fragrance in the kit is called Black Phantom. This one has notes of rum, coffee, vetiver, cyanide, sugarcane, and sandalwood. Very interesting. I don't really know what cyanide is. Isn't that like poison? It's very rich. I said that I could smell the coffee, but the sandalwood was overpowering the coffee actually. And I do like sandalwood, but I do think that sometimes it can be overpowering. I can smell the sweetness from the sugarcane, but again, that sandalwood is pretty strong. It makes it a little bit creamy. For me, this was good news, was that when I put it on, I mean, I didn't dislike the sandalwood per se, but I was kind of wanting it to be a more even balance. But when I wore it, after like a couple of hours, the coffee and sugarcane notes started to show more, and the sandalwood kind of started to fade away. So I'm pretty sure that actually has to do with how there are base notes, top notes, and dry down notes. I don't know. I mean, for being a fragrance connoisseur, I'm very much so a rookie one. I just like it. It's not like I'm really well educated on the matter, and perhaps I should educate myself more, but I do think that the whole top note, base note, whatever, has to do with what you smell at first versus what starts to develop throughout. But again, every fragrance is so different and works so differently with everyone's body chemistry that that's not always how it goes. But in this case, the coffee and sugarcane did start to develop more. Then after a few more hours, it started to just be a little bit softer and even sweeter. From there, it turned a bit tobacco-y. I mean, I really think I wrote here that this was after 11 hours of wear that I was still smelling like that tobacco-y-ness. It's not a word, with like the soft sweetness. Like, I really like this. I think this had amazing lasting power in the realm of this collection, and it really told a story because it did change so much throughout, and I just think it was a really cool unique, special. This is a special one, Black Phantom. It doesn't really scream like any particular time of the year or time of the day. I think you could really make this like a signature scent if you wanted, because it's just so all over the place that I think you could just kind of wear it whenever, however. The next fragrance in this set is called Moonlight in Heaven. This is one, I've smelled this before, like before I had even gotten this kit. I was semi-familiar with it. I like it, but I don't think I would have ever like gone out of my way to get a sample. But so the notes in this are mango, coconut, and rice. I will give it that that's a very unique thing. It's very sweet and you can smell the mango for sure. In the end, I am happy I tried this because I think it's one that smells a certain way in the bottle. Like it smells fine, it smells good, but then it takes on a whole new level of complexity on the body. So you could smell the mango, yet it was perfectly balanced with everything else in there. It was not too sweet, and I would say that it actually smelled really exotic. That's kind of the word that I think best describes it. Wearing it on me made me feel intrigued. It made me just happy. It was, I think it's something just unexpected, and so like my nose and my brain were just like kind of ooh, and it is that fresh fruitiness, and I think juicy like fruit smells just kind of, I don't know, I think they evoke a bit of happiness. I could also smell the coconut. It wasn't too strong, but I could smell it. The coconut added some creaminess, and I also think it's what made it a little bit sexy rather than just like a mango body splash type of a, you know, like it added a layer. It became spicy and probably I would say oriental after like a couple hours. As time went on, the sweetness faded more and the spicier it got. And then about like an hour, let's see, I think I put the time. Yeah, so after a few hours, the sweetness was fading. And then like an hour-ish later, the mango and sweetness started to kind of come back and the spiciness remained. So like, that's one thing, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but that's one thing I adore about like niche high-end fragrance. And you know, right now Kilian, since that's what we're talking about, they're not just one-dimensional like, oh that smells good, let me spray it on me. They really like take you on this whole journey where they develop throughout the day. So it was good. It was sweet, spicy, soft, and unique. I feel like this is not helping you to say you could wear it whenever, but I do think you could wear it whenever. I think the fruitiness almost makes you think spring, summer, but no, the complexity and the spiciness tells me whenever you want. Night, day, yeah, whenever you want. Okay, the next one, I have 3 more, and 2 of them are not my favorite, but they're not bad. I don't think Kilian really makes a bad fragrance. This one is called Bamboo Harmony. So the notes in this are white tea, citrus, green mimosa, bergamot, neroli, and moss. It's very clean and fresh, but for me, this was a little bit too like green, if that makes sense. A little too earthy, I don't know. And I think it's the white tea note and maybe the green mimosa, because I love bergamot. Citrus is good, moss. I mean, I really think it's that white tea. This is making me think of, I want to say there was like a, yeah, at like Bath and Body Works, isn't there like that white citrus or whatever it is, or like a, I don't know, it just smells not like some exquisite designer fragrance, but for people who are into this type of scent, I mean, it's well done. I can smell the citrus in it, which I like. There's no sweetness to this, like none. It's just earthy, green, and fresh, citrusy, and to me, again, kind of reminded me of a cleaning product or like Bath and Body Works spray. I'm not talking about the performance of it or the quality of it. I'm just talking about the smell. So yeah, not my favorite. But if that sounds up your alley, like those fragrance notes, then you probably would be a fan of it. It just didn't do it for me. But that one I would say is a daytime fragrance. Very much so a daytime fragrance. And I would say like a spring fragrance if I had to choose a season for it. The next one that you will get in your set, if you get this, is called Intoxicated. The notes in this are coffee, cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, and caramelized sugar. So very like sweet and spicy. I said that it smells like sweet, spicy coffee, more so sweet than spicy. You can definitely smell the coffee in this. It's a little reminiscent, and even just hearing those fragrance notes, of YSL Black Opium, which is a popular one that has coffee and I think vanilla in it. To me, this screams a nighttime fragrance. It is kind of so sexy and yeah, just like sweet and heavy that it screams nighttime, but I mean, I think it could be pulled off during the day. I would say this is more feminine than masculine. It definitely, there's a more clear answer to that question with this one than there are with some of the other ones of, oh, who would this suit? I think this would suit a woman more, but I mean, of course, wear what you want to wear. I smell the cinnamon in there a lot, which is really nice, and I also think that is one of the bigger differences of this and Black Opium. I mean, they're not the same, they're not, but they are similar. But this one definitely has a cinnamon note in it, which I love. The longevity, I would say it was on the lower end. It wasn't the best, but being that I think it's more of just like a event nighttime kind of fragrance, that's not the worst thing. I do like this. I think it's fun, and I do tend to be attracted to those spicy sweet scents, but I just think that like Black Phantom and like Straight to Heaven do it a little bit better because they're similar where they're like spicy and sweet. I just like them better though than this one. This one's kind of just like a bit too much. I don't know. And the last fragrance in the Kilian Discovery set is one from their very first collection, and it is called Love. It is the only one that has like a different colored liquid. No, this has not gone bad. That's what it's supposed to look like. This is my friend Lauren's like favorite fragrance, and it is really good. The notes in this are orange blossom, marshmallow, and vanilla. So it's very sweet. It's very, very sweet. But because it has that orange blossom note in it, it helps keep it more balanced from being like, ugh, that sickly sweet, or some people like a sickly sweet scent, but it also comes across, I think, no matter whether you like it or not, I think it's undeniable that really sickly sweet comes across as a little bit younger, a little bit maybe cheaper. I'm just gonna say it, you know, kind of like a more teenage fragrance. I think with that orange blossom, it adds a layer of freshness to it. I think there's also like neroli in this. Yeah, neroli and jasmine, pink pepper. So there's a few other notes. Those are just kind of the main ones. The marshmallow and the vanilla mixed with the pink pepper, mixed with the orange blossom. Like, this is a fragrance to wear if you want to get someone's attention. It will envelop them in just like this, what I would say is a very feminine, strong, powerful, feminine woman who is like not afraid to wear like a really sweet scent like this, because I don't know, it's like mature enough. Not that there has to be rules or whatever, but it's just like a really cool girl, woman wearing a sweet scent. It's like if a amazing, savage, like businesswoman who always loved little like Aqualina pink sugar type of thing wanted to create a fragrance like that, but for women, that's like what this is. So it's incredibly sweet. I've sometimes thought like, oh, I don't know, it's too sweet on me. But I do think like when Lauren wears it, like, oh my gosh, it's just so good. It makes you want to be around that person. It just makes you like, so I think it's one where, yes, it's sweet. Yes, you're kind of like, whoa, it's kind of sharp. It kind of bites you. But it's good. Don't be afraid of this one. Like, try it for sure. Okay, so those are all the scents in this Kilian Discovery set. I hope you guys liked this. It was probably a little bit long, but I did want to give you some of those details. It's $195. This year's comes with the 8 fragrance vials. Again, they're 0.25 ounces each. And then again, it comes with the bullet that you can actually put the fragrance into. So I think it's an amazing deal. I think it would make an amazing gift. You could also, if you wanted to, I mean, you could buy it and then like split it with a friend. Like if you both like fragrance, I mean, granted, yes, there's only one of the bullet things in there, but maybe you guys could toss a coin or something like that, and you could split up which fragrances suit you better than the other person. You could do them as like part of a gift. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's hard when they're just like these little, oh Lord. It's hard when they're just like these little glass guys, but you could do it. I mean, you could wrap these in some pretty cellophane with some ribbon, and if somebody knows fragrance, they're going to be excited to have a 0.25 size of a Kilian fragrance. So I highly recommend getting the set. If you guys got it last year or this year, let me know down below. What is your favorite Kilian scent? Is there one that you think I should smell? I think I've smelled almost all of them, but sometimes I know some of them in my brain better than others. So leave a comment down below and I will see you guys next time. Love you. Bye.